Grappler Fall Classic 2016, 7th annual Grappler Fall Classic, going down this Saturday, October 1st, Kellogg Arena, Battle Creek, Michigan. We got kids from all over the country coming to get it on. We got a loaded elementary, middle school division. Sweet. Our high school division, as always, is just jam-packed. We got like 15 or 16 states now, I think, that are represented. We've got kids coming from all over the place. And this year...
A kid come from Alabama, right?
Alabama. That's the first time ever. Yeah, I think so. I think we got one from... there was another new state in there, too. And I lost it. But anyways, we got 2 high school divisions this year. First time ever. We have a varsity and an elite, which is new. Really excited about it. It gives some of those,
Sweet.
you know, we talked about it in the first preview video. Give some of those guys that maybe are younger, not quite ready for national high-level competition, they get more matches. Mm-hmm. And then the guys who are freaks are wrestling basically only other freaks. Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's going to make for some really good weights. We are in the heart of it right now. This is the second, this is the middleweights preview. We got 130 to 152, and there's going to be some amazing matchups in these weight classes. And that's Steve Wodzinski. He's the Michigan Grappler ranking man. Been doing it for a while now. He does all the rankings. He knows kids in Michigan. He also knows kids all over the country. He does stuff for the AWP as well. So he knows guys better than anybody. My name's Tony Greathouse. I am the founder of MichiganGrappler.com.
10-year-old MichiganGrappler.com.
Yeah, 10 years I've been doing this craziness. But and this is my favorite time of year. Mm-hmm. We get a bunch of studs together. The whole point of starting the Grappler Fall Classic was to get Michigan kids to wrestle kids from other divisions. Mm-hmm. So like that was the primary goal. Secondary goal is to get kids from out of state to come and wrestle our Michigan kids in Michigan. And that's what we got. We got a bunch of studs from all out of state coming to wrestle the in-state guys. And so we're going to preview these weight classes. Disclaimer, we're not going to name off every kid in the weight or even every kid who's good, because there's a lot of kids that are good. So we're going to name off the names that stand out. We're probably going to forget to name somebody. Like he's going to call me tonight and go, oh my God, I forgot to mention that guy at 130. But if we don't say your name, it's not because we don't like you. It's not because we don't think you could win this tournament. Hopefully you prove us wrong and you do win the tournament, because that's what it's all about. But we're going to give you a rundown. We're going to make our picks. And then we're going to sit back and wait to watch you guys get some on Saturday. So, starting out with 130 pounds, 130 it's a good weight. We got some states. We got one state champ and a bunch of state placers. We got a few guys that are nationally accomplished. And starting out at top is super sophomore Kevon Davenport. Mm-hmm. He kind of shocked the world a little bit last year, but I wouldn't say shocked the world, but he definitely surprised some people by winning a state title last year as a freshman for DCC.
Winning it pretty dominantly too, against a returning state champ.
D1 119 with a returning state champ. Yep, he had a great state tournament. He had a great summer, placed in Fargo. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys. It's like he's at everything. He's always wrestling, always competing hard. He had a great GFC last year. Yeah, he did. At this tournament, really is when he kind of broke out. And
for sure, I think actually. I want to say as an 8th grader, he placed like 98 at the GFC, so I think he may be a 2-time GFC All-American already.
But he's one of those guys who kind of validated himself last year here, and now he's coming in. He's not a dark horse this year. He is the top seed. He's the guy to beat, returning state champ. 2 seed, we got Paul Conrad.
Yeah, dude's been to like a zillion national tournaments. He's had a ton of success. He won a Flow National title a couple years ago. Didn't wrestle at the Indiana State Tournament last year, but top 3 the 2 years prior to that. Dude's been all over the country, wrestled at everything, super accomplished. Davenport's the 1 seed, he's state champ, you could say he's the favorite, but on paper you could make just as good of an argument. Conrad's the favorite to win this way.
Conrad came to the GFC 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
2 years ago, and he was
lost
a runner-up.
Caleb Smith, right?
Yeah, he lost in the finals.
Ever funky Caleb Smith
from Florida, but he was. He's placed in Fargo. Mm-hmm. I want to say he was a Fargo runner-up.
That sounds right.
He was a Flow runner-up.
He's
Flow champ. Yeah.
Crazy credentials for Paul Conrad.
He's been everywhere. He's not going to be like thrown off guard by the level of competition in this tournament. So those 2 guys are tough. I really like the number 3 seed, Jeffrey Thomas from Ohio.
Huge upside.
St. Paris Graham guy. He was second in the state last year as a freshman at Graham. Mm-hmm. And those Graham guys, they develop so well. Their off-season training is unique. The situation that they have down there in Graham, and so I would suspect
it's always
that he's going to be pretty tough, and he's going to go really hard. And if him and Conrad stay 2 and 3, that's going to be an awesome semifinal matchup. Going down the list. there's a lot of Michigan guys, but the out-of-state guys who stand out. Caleb Lewis from Wisconsin, third in the state in Wisconsin. You got Vinny Sessa from St. Thomas Aquinas, Florida. Those St. Thomas guys are always scrappy, always
had
tough.
a lot of success at this tournament.
He was fifth. Hector Cologne.
I think he's been in high school forever.
I know, he always comes to this tournament.
Yeah.
I think he's our only Empire State guy from New York this year.
Nice.
He was a two-time state qualifier, Division I, out of New York. And then there's a couple other Florida guys who were state qualifiers with John Fanfan and Daniel Velador. And that kind of rounds out the out-of-state guys. What other Michigan returners do we have besides Davenport?
Looking at the Michigan guys, this is definitely a weight that is kind of out-of-state heavy. Trevor Robinson, a kid who kind of came out of nowhere to make the Division III state finals last year. He's your 6th seed. He's someone to watch for sure. Chris Fausen is a kid who had a lot of success as a youth wrestler and then kind of came back on the scene last year, took 5th in Division II. I think he's got a ton of upside, a ton of potential. Victor Shaner and James Whitaker, kids I really like. They were both freshmen last year. Thought they have a ton of potential. Kids who could be like state title contenders.
Yeah, they were stud freshmen. Victor Shaner kind of came out of nowhere last year.
I mean, he wrestled at 125 for the state tournament, which was like the deepest weight. Can't match away from placing, but like he had crazy good wins from last year. Once he beat Facundo last year.
So Shaner and Whitaker were good freshmen last year. A guy who's going to be a good freshman this year. That's in this weight class that I'm really excited to watch. I've heard his name. I've seen him on paper, but I've never seen him in person. And that's Josh Edmonds from Michigan. He's going to Orchard Lake St. Mary High School. He is like one of those guys that if he is as good as advertised, he could be like a legit contender this year in Division I as a freshman, which is really hard to do at that weight class. So I'm really excited to see how he does in this field. He's probably coming in unseeded, so it's a grab bag of who he's going to wrestle first round.
Right, could mess up someone's day.
Really excited to see him wrestle. But let's go to our picks here, Steve. I'm going to go ahead and pick first, and I'm going to go with the maybe not a dark horse pick, but a pick that you might surprise you. I'm going to go with St. Paris Graham, Jordan-trained Jeffrey Thomas.
I am super high on Jeffrey Thomas, super high on Kevon Davenport, but Paul Conrath, journeyman, kid's been at like every national tournament, wrestled really well at all of them. Got my money on Paul Conrath.
I have a feeling that Kevon Davenport's going to watch this video, and he's going to want to just come after both of us at weigh-ins on Friday night. So, Kevon, I'm sorry. Please don't come after us. All right, moving on, 135. So 135 is it's an exciting weight, but it's also kind of interesting because it has, in my opinion, it probably has the best top talent. Like the top 3 at 135
really good.
are probably tougher than any other weight class.
Yeah.
But it's actually a really thin weight overall.
Yeah.
Because, some of these weight classes have like, 10, 15, 20 state placers. There's only 9 state placers in this weight class. Only 13, which is kind of crazy that I'm saying only 13 guys who are returning state qualifiers, but 5 guys who last year were state champs or state runner-up, so they're returning state finalists, and actually 3 guys in this weight class who are past GFC high school division champions. I mean, that's pretty crazy. There's only like 11 guys in history who've won the GFC high school division twice. And there's 3 guys in this weight who've won it before. One of them is probably going to become the next 2-time GFC champ, I would guess. But right at the top, you start out with Grant Aronoff. Dude is a freak. He made this tournament look like the My Way East Regional last year. He just blew through this tournament last year. He's good on his feet. He's good on top.
He wrestles like 5 years older than he is.
Yeah, he wrestles like a college man. Yeah, he is a stud, and I think he's ranked pretty high nationally. He's like top 15, I think, in the country, but I think he kind of flies under radars because he's basically lives in Puerto Rico. He lives in South Florida down in Fort Lauderdale, and I think maybe kind of flies under radars.
Doesn't wrestle a ton of freestyle.
Doesn't do freestyle, but he's won the NHSCA freshman and sophomore nationals last year. Like I said, he just totally cartwheeled through this tournament last year. He is a freak. And then the 2 seed, also a returning champ, is Jarrett Trombley.
Stud.
Who, he's the guy that you're never really people aren't picking him, it seems like, but then he ends up winning. He wasn't supposed to win the state title last year. And he beat Devin Sharp, who was going for his 4th state title. He probably wasn't supposed to win the GFC last year. But he did.
Who do you wrestle in the finals?
The guy from Pennsylvania.
Gage
Curry, which was an awesome finals match. He beat Gage Curry in the finals. So he's a stud. And then you got Braden Bailey, who's been 3rd in the state in Indiana 3 times. I mean,
it's crazy.
I can't believe he hasn't won it yet. He's probably can't believe he hasn't won it
that's
yet.
so hard to do in Indiana.
But he's also one of those kids that he's very familiar with Michigan people. He comes up for the Grand League Rumble, the West Grand Challenge a lot, and he's funky. He wrestles hard. He's good from all positions.
Yeah.
He's a stud. And then the 4 seed, you got Sean O'Hearn, who's the 4 state champ. And then the 5th seed, you got Nick Freeman, who was 3rd in the state last year, but Nick Freeman placed in Fargo in both styles.
Heck of a summer. Yeah, Nick Freeman's been lighting it up lately.
6th seed, you got Donnell Washington, he's one of those Harvey Twister guys who's a stud all throughout youth wrestling. Last year as a freshman in Illinois, he was a state runner-up. So he's a stud. So it's even though the weight technically is a little bit thinner than most,
When
it's
you get to the
crazy.
quarterfinals, it's going to be fireworks.
Give me a rundown of who else we got. I just named off half the chart.
Yeah, Tony Williams, Stevensville Lakeshore, really, really dangerous kid. I think he pinned Max Johnson in this tournament before. He was a former state champ. He's really dangerous. You got a kid like Dante Latorra, who potentially could have been a state finalist last year, but an injury didn't knock him out of the tournament. You got Brandon Klein from Wisconsin, a former state champ. Austin Boone, who Tony touched on, a former GFC champ. Finally going to be a freshman this year. We're going to be one of the top freshmen in the state and the country. You got a kid like Mitchell Scleris, who I'm not super familiar with, but is an Ohio State qualifier. Anthony Gibson, really good. Westland John Glenn, keep very close to placing. So there's some guys down here for sure who don't have, the accolades, but are for sure going to, keep this weight interesting in the earlier rounds.
Austin Boone is a guy who, if I had to say a dark horse in this weight, I would probably pick Austin Boone because I don't know if he was seeded. When he was in 7th grade in this tournament, he was at 105, and I don't even think he was seeded, and he won the tournament, and he beat Louis Hayes in the finals, who was a junior in high school at the time, and was ranked top 5 in the country.
Kevon Davenport was at that way, and all these, Austin Franco was at that way, and it was crazy.
So Austin Boone is a guy who is a stud, and I think you're right, he might be the best freshman in Michigan this year, so I'm really excited to see how he pans out. But let's get to our picks, Steve. Who you got?
I am going with, out of Indiana, Braden Bailey. This kid has been around forever. He's taken 3rd at the Indiana State Tournament 3 times, which is unfathomably impressive. That consistent, because Indiana, no wrestlebacks. That means he's made the semifinals every single year or maybe he just didn't make the quarterfinals. Either way, Indiana, really, really impressive. He's my pick.
So Braden Bailey's really good, and as we mentioned, and as you guys know, I think Grant Aronoff is absolutely amazing. And if you were Vegas odds, most people would probably pick Grant Aronoff to win this weight. But most people probably picked Devin Schroeder to win the state title last year. And most people probably wouldn't have picked Jared Trombley to win the GFC last year. But for this kid, all he does is win. So I can't pick against him. I'm going with the returning champ, Jared Trombley. Boom, 140, Steve. What do we got?
We got Ben Freeman, a kid who's had a ton of success at this tournament, a ton of success everywhere. Ben Freeman, mixed feelings about him being a senior. Makes me feel really old because I've been watching him wrestle for so long, and he just always impressed me so much. He's the headliner, U of M commit, 3-time Michigan State champ, a zillion-time Fargo All-American, Phil All-American, UWW All-American, you name it, he's placed at it. Franco Valdez, a 3-time 3A state finalist in Florida, had tons of success at this tournament. He's won a Florida state championship before. You got a guy like Noah Shaner and Cameron Amin, both Division I state champions, really impressive younger guys who I think are really trending the right way, as good as they were last year. Just knowing those guys' trajectory, they're going to be a lot better this year. You got guys who've made Division I, Division II state finals like John Simaz, Westland John Glenn, Trenton Shway, St. John's, really experienced guys. You got a guy like Richie McClanahan out of Florida, won a state title before in 2015. You got a guy like Avery Muschler, who could have foreseeably won a state title. A few different things go different this year in D2. You got a guy like Joey Muslin, who's down a weight from where he placed at the state tournament last year. So this is a really, really exciting weight for me.
15 state placers in this weight class. 15 guys who were state placers last year that are back this year, returning state placers. That means when you get to the round of 16, 15 of the 16 guys are state placers. That's pretty crazy. 20 total state qualifiers.
Jeez.
This weight is nuts. I think the top 4 or 5 are really where there's a lot of interest.
For sure.
You look at Cameron Amin. He was a state champ last year as a freshman. D1, 125. That's pretty unbelievable. He was double All-American in Fargo. That kid he's getting bigger and stronger.
And if you look at where Cameron Amin was at this time last year, and how far he's come, if that trend continues, he's going to be a force on Saturday.
You look at him and Schoner, 3 and 4. You got Freeman, Schoner, and Amin, you have the 125, 130, and 135 returning state champs from D1 last year, all in this weight class. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
And the kid who Freeman beat in the finals, John Simons.
And then you throw in a Florida state champ in McClanahan, a Florida state champ in Valdez, a couple runner-ups. You know, you got Avery Mushler, who's
Really good.
He kind of, I feel like he didn't. I was expecting a little bit more from him at the state tournament last year, but he had some amazing wins throughout the year. He looked like an absolute beast all year.
He might win 3 state titles the next 3 years. He's really
a stud, and he's the 10 seed. I mean, you got Zach Mello, the 9 seed. He was 4th in the state in Indiana.
Right, yeah. I mean, Nolan Saxon, a 3-time state placer, year 12. J.D. Greathouse, 13, state placer. Andy Hansen, Division 1 state placer, coming in at 14. Got Max Wicketow, a 2-time state qualifier in Florida Big School Division, not even seeded. So, really exciting depth here.
Yeah, this weight kind of has it all. And really, I think what it all boils down to is it's a race for Ben. Who's going to beat Ben Freeman?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Last year, Ben got upset in the finals by Matt Santos, which was a really good finals match. And it's just exciting, you know. And it was kind of the same thing last year. Everyone was gunning for Freeman. It's going to be the same thing this year, and I think Ben Freeman's probably used to that because every tournament he goes to, it's kind of like that. But I think if you did a calculation of who's wrestling at the Grappler Fall Classic the most, this is our 7th year, and I should have looked this up before we shot the video. I'm pretty sure Ben Freeman's been here every year.
Yeah, well, not only has he been here every year, but I believe one of those years he double dipped when he was in 8th grade. It was middle school and high school. Yeah.
So he's got more GFC entries, I think, than anyone else in history. And he has not won the high school division yet.
Wow.
So this would be his first GFC high school division title if he wins it. And with that, as much as I think there's going to be some awesome matches, I'm super excited about the semis.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how it shakes out, like if the seeds were to change, which I don't know how they would or why they would, but between Freeman, Valdez, Schoner, and Amin, those semifinal matches are going to be great. And those quarterfinal matchups are going to be great when you throw in Simons, Lashaway, Bryce Marcus, and Richie McClain. I mean, there's going to be some awesome quarterfinal matches, awesome semifinal matches, but I feel like it's his time. He's done about everything else in his career, but win a GFC title. Benny Free's going to go ahead and win one this year.
I'd like to be a contrarian, and I think Franco Valdez is so good and is really, could be a guy who wins this weight. But the fact that Ben Freeman has never won this tournament before, he's a senior, I got to pick the free man out of Old Lake Central.
145, moving down the list. So 145 is a very out-of-state heavyweight class.
Yes.
We have a lot of out-of-state guys. All in all, there's 15 state qualifiers, 11 returning state placers. Only one returning state champ, and that's Garrett Modell out of Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin. 2 seed from Ohio is Connor Brady, who was 4th in the state.
Big fan.
D1 last year, Ohio as a freshman.
Gave Ben Freeman a heck of a match at this tournament last year. I think they were really close, like a minute left in it. Freeman ended up putting Brady on his back, but he wrestled Ben Freeman like dead even at this tournament last year. He's really good.
Christian Phoebus, state runner-up out of Florida. Marcus Hartman, 4 seed. He was 5th in the state last year.
Heck of a summer.
3A in Illinois. But he, like he said, he had a great summer. He was 5th at Fargo last year. Or excuse me. Yeah, was he 5th? Why did I think
sounds about right.
5th in Fargo last year. I feel like that might be wrong. In cadet freestyle, he is currently ranked by Flow Wrestling, and
might have made the finals actually.
I want to say he was a runner-up.
Yeah.
I think I might have wrote that down wrong. But either way, kid's a stud. Ashton Heibel, state runner-up out of Florida, and
As
then,
an 8th grader last year.
as an 8th grader. So now he's a freshman and probably going to be a state champ this year in Florida. And then really the rest of the way down the list, you throw in there's a guy from Illinois, Alex Kramer, who's a state qualifier. You got Alex Keister from Florida, who's
Watch
a state
out for
qualifier.
Ramon Johnson from Illinois. That could be a dark horse.
Ramon Johnson was runner-up at the Grand River Rumble this year, which was a really tough weight.
Been wrestling really well lately.
And then you got another Wisconsin guy, Evan Sinda, who's a state qualifier. But really, other than that, it's like a plethora of really good guys in Michigan who are ready to just break out and knock off somebody really good. So give us a rundown on all those Michigan guys.
Yeah, Brian Case, freshman last year, pretty good freshman season, but I think he's just scratching the surface. That's going to be a guy a couple of years from now. People in Ohio and Illinois and Indiana are going to be talking about Brian Case or Michigan and how good he is. Tyler Orson, Division III kid, 4th last year. Really like him. He's going to be state title contender. Alec Rees, another sophomore who I'm super high on. Took 5th last year in Division II. Going to be a state title contender this year. You got Noah Neiman, been top 4 in Division IV 2 years in a row. Sean Trombley, 5th in Division III. Danny Pfeffer has been a 3-time Division I state qualifier. You got Charlie Newton, Michigan state placer. So that kind of rounds out the Michigan contingent. So not incredibly deep, but a really good group and also really young guys with really bright futures.
All right, my pick. I'm going with the land of Lincoln, Illinois. Marcus Hartman.
I
think
it.
he's the guy.
For my pick, I haven't seen like a ton of Connor Brady since the GFC last year, but I thought he looked so freaking good at the GFC last year that if he's like progressed at all, he's winning this weight. I'm going with Connor Brady as my pick at 145.
All right, last weight of this video, 152 pounds. This weight is a doozy, headlined by two returning Michigan State champs. We got Nathan Atienza, who was a state champ at 145 last year, and D1. And then we got Cam Bush, who was a state champ at 152 last year, D1. And those two are both studs. They're both guys who a little under the radar because they don't do freestyle Greco, so we don't see them a whole lot.
Cam does some, Nathan Atienza not really at all.
But they're they wrestle. They're Disney.
For sure, I think 2 years ago they were both cadet folk style All-Americans.
So they're both very good, but they're going to have a couple good on-state tests. Most notably, Joe Kuntz, returning champ last year.
Stud.
Joe Kuntz really impressed me. Massillon Perry guy, Coach Nate Carr down there has got a ton of studs getting after it, and Joe Kuntz came in and just really like kind of rocked the house last year and won this tournament. And now he's back. He's a senior. He got hurt last year in the postseason, so he didn't get to wrestle in the Ohio State tournament. So he's one of those guys who's really good.
And this tournament means all that much more to him now that he doesn't have that exposure from the Ohio State tournament last year.
I want to say this. No, he wrestled at the Indiana Mat tournament last month, and I think he won it. And so now he's like probably getting into full shape right now. So expect him to be firing on all cylinders and hungry, trying to be the next two-time GFC champ. And then other out-of-state guys, you got Illinois, Danny Braunagel, state runner-up, Angel Del Cueto from Florida, who was third in the state, and then my guy Colt Yinger out of Ohio.
Yeah, stud.
I really like Colt Yinger. He's really tough. I met him down in Ohio last year at the Jeff Jordan camp. Kid's a stud. He was fifth in the state in Ohio last year. I think he's somebody to really keep an eye on in this bracket. And then the 7 seed,
Jaden Elgie out of Nebraska. Yeah, he's a 2015 state champ. I think he could be kind of a dark horse here. He doesn't have a ton of credentials, like recently stuff he's done, but certainly someone who could mess up this bracket for sure.
I've never seen him wrestle, but I saw a picture of him, and he looks like an absolute pitbull.
Really?
Like, he just looks like he is going to rip your head off.
Yeah, then another guy a couple spots down, Derek Smallwood. I watched him at this tournament last year. I thought he was really good. Also was at the state tournament last year, 2 years ago, 5th in Kentucky, which is pretty tough. Kentucky's one division. You got a kid like Brett Fedewa, a 3-time Michigan State qualifier, 5th last year, tons of experience nationally, and all 3 styles. Then moving down the list, some guys like Colt Rudder and Sam York who had some nice depth this weight class, the state qualifiers.
And there's another New York guy. I was wrong.
Oh, yeah, you missed him.
One New York guy.
Jack Chesman was a recent entry, Division II state qualifier.
2 guys from the Empire State. Another guy to watch is Sam York. D2 state qualifier last year,
DeWitt.
as a sophomore from DeWitt, Michigan. He's
Pretty
a guy who, I've seen him a little bit over the summer, and he had a really good Grand River Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think he might be a guy to keep an eye on. He might surprise some people and make a run here. But 152, it's a tough pick. I mean, really what it all boils down to is probably going to be the top 3. Bush, Kuntz, and Atienza are probably the 3 guys to beat, I think. Not that some of these other guys aren't going to, Yinger, Del Cueto, these guys are all going to be in the mix. But who you got?
I'm going with the Livonia Franklin Patriot, Nathan Atienza. I think he is really good, not only on his feet, but also on the mat, and that's going to make a difference for him. He's just really good all around. It's a college rules tournament, going to help him out.
Yeah, Atienza is good. But I got to go with the returning champ. Joe Kuntz knows what it's like to blow through this tournament to make it to the finals.
Yep,
and,
that was an awesome matchup last year. I think Kuntz won 8-7 against Atienza, so hoping we'll get to see that one again. But Cam Bush, prove me wrong. You're the man. This is your way to win just as much as anybody else's.
Atienza Kuntz was semis last year.
I believe so.
So now we're going to maybe see him wrestle. They would be the
Semis
semis
rematch,
again based on the seeds. Could be interesting. All right, that's it for the middleweights. The next video is going to be the heavyweights. Remember, we got 3 videos, a lightweight, a middleweight, and a heavyweight preview. Make sure you watch them all. Make sure you check the entry list. All the entry lists are posted on MichiganGrappler.com, GrapplerFallClassic.com. The all-state list is also, so you can see all the guys who are returning state placers at each weight class. We'll also have the seeds are posted online, so you can go through and you can see all the seeds yourself. But most importantly, if you can't make it to Kellogg Arena on Saturday, make sure you tune in, watch it live. Every single match is going to be streamed live on TrackCast. And also, Track Wrestling is doing a featured production of the finals. We're going to have multiple camera angles with live commentating. Steve's going to be doing post-match interviews. It's going to be awesome. Unprecedented level of coverage this year for the Grappler Fall Classic that we've ever had before, and also honestly unprecedented level of talent that we've ever had. So you guys are going to come get some, and people are going to get to see you get some. So we'll see you guys on October 1st.